You say you want to speak about Dame.
Oh, no, that's good.
I don't want to speak about Dame.
Okay.
What's going on with Dame?
Apparently, Dame is going through some...
Dame Dash
is going through some financial issues at the moment. It's being said that pretty much everything is being stripped from him to pay off some debt. So that's including his crib and his studio to pay off some debts, and then also some other stuff with child support.
Yeesh.
Yeah. I saw something interesting that Ray Daniel said that I thought was kind of interesting. At first, I didn't agree with him. He started to expound more. I was kind of like, all right, I could see his point. But he was saying he kind of lost a little bit of respect for Jay-Z because he feels like in this moment, this is the moment where you're supposed to put all your shit to the past and put it behind you and be the person to come say, all right, let me give you a little wrath at this moment.
I agree, but we don't have the most intimate knowledge of their relationship. We know a lot of shit, but depending on what happened, you might...
I don't know if you care to hear it.
I don't agree. Go ahead, please.
I would and wouldn't agree. If Dame has crossed the line to Jay, I don't know if he has or has not, but there's definitely a line. Yeah. Like if I'm Jay-Z,
talking when you walk in the room, and then when you walk in the room, gets silent. You know, like when people feel like, like oh, we know what's going on with him. To me, I think this is what happened with Dame is some real high school-ish. To me, it's like, oh, the man is going through something. No one should enjoy watching that. And I'm being honest with you, it kind of makes me lose a little respect for Hov. Wow. A little respect for Hov. A little. Not a lot, but a little. And I'm going to tell you why. Because, like, I know Memphis Bleek is your man. He went on record saying he'll always be a millionaire, right? Because Memphis Bleek is your man. I get it. Tata's your man. Those are his little mans that he looked out for. Dame was your peer. And to me, if I'm up 2.5 billion, I'm not going to let somebody who I love, like they still the godfather of each other kids. Jay can make one phone call and change that man's life. He can make one phone call and help that man, and he won't. And to me, it's like, so let's look at it from the 48 laws of power, right? So they say crush your enemy totally. So, okay, Dame.
It's a long clip, so I'll probably cut it off.
They're frenemies.
It's like 12 minutes long.
They still got.
I mean, we could cut it right there and address what he said, and then if you want to go back.
Yeah.
I mean, he's a couple other things. Like he said, at this point, Jay is the person where you've done a lot of like charity and you've done a lot of things to help other people, especially like get out of jail, things like that. People who have nothing to do with your career, people that have never even helped you in any type of way. So while you've done like these godly acts, something that's more personal to your character that would show you really wanting to give back to your legacy would be helping out the person that kind of helped you get to where you're at.
I would think about a couple of factors. And by the way, I would love to see Hov do that. And I also say I don't know enough about either their business to have an opinion on what. I ain't gonna say no shoulds about them in particular. I don't know their business. But what I will say is one thing I would consider is, has a line been crossed? Because there's a line where I don't think I gotta do shit. Second thing is, if I do this, will this solve the problem? Because there are some people who are perpetual. They're always swinging for the fences, and if I clear up this debt, this particular debt I think is $826,000 from the movie situation. If and I'm not saying this is Dame, I'm just speaking in general terms. If I clear that debt up, and then you know what I mean, and then the next month you throw another $1 million out there trying to swing for the fences, and you're $1 million in debt in a year. Do I got to do that one too? Like, what is the point? And some people are, and Dame has said himself, like, I'm never going to keep cash. I'm never going to be liquid in a certain way. I'm always going to dump it back into the next thing, looking for the next big hit. I don't have any issue with that. But as somebody trying to quote unquote rescue you financially, and I'm not saying he wants rescue, but if I did, I might not feel as comfortable doing that as somebody who, if I give you this, I'm changing. In other words, I don't know if this is going to change his life. That would be another consideration I would have. Will this actually change your life, or will it just empower you to swing for the fences and be down again? Those would be the two things I think about.
Is it possible Jay at this point is just really practicing just one of the fine laws of the art of war?
What, just crushing you?
Like at a certain point, I really started to view you as an enemy. Like
it's all possible.
I think it's worse than that. I think he's completely indifferent.
Yeah, I don't think he looks at Dame as an enemy.
I hope not.
You can't have. Let me dress my words up. You can't compete when you can't compare. So I don't think at this point Jay-Z looks at Dame as a formidable enemy. I do think though they had a lot of personal shit that transpired. Even in the last year or so, we've seen Dame, whether voluntarily or not, every single interview that Dame Dash goes on, Jay-Z's name comes up.
Yeah, there was a run like that for like 6 months.
Yeah. So if you're Jay, you like, my nigga, what we had, and if you're a man of integrity, whatever slights you got, leave them there, right? Because that's what we supposed to do. So I think that if I'm Jay-Z, me personally, I would have gave Dame some money, right? But if you're Jay-Z and you just keep hearing this nigga drag your name through the mud more and more and more and more and more, there's a line where you be like, yo, I ain't fucking with that no more.
Right.
I'm not fucking with him. He not maintaining his level of quote unquote realness. So I don't got to do that.
Is there a point where that would matter less depending on how bad the person's doing? In other words, okay, you got a judgment. Oh, there's seasoned property. Cool. But what if the person's homeless?
Answer your point.
Yeah.
If Jay were to give Dame money, I don't care what. If you gonna go back down this road, I'm not giving you the money for that. I'm giving you the money because I love you and I think that you need help. So if I gave, you might be in debt $800,000. If Jay-Z gave him $3-4 million, dog, I'm giving you this money. I did what I'm supposed to do in my heart. What you do with the money is up to you.
And this is a one-off.
It's up to you. Like, hopefully you make 40, 50, another 100. Hopefully you take this $4 million and run with it, and it's 100 in a couple years.
Isn't there also the possibility that Dame wouldn't take the money from Jay-Z?
Possibility?
No.
Okay.
Absolutely
He'd
not.
probably want to take it quietly. Like, he wouldn't want there to be a big,
I think he'd take it because even the thing with Cam shot at.
I think he takes it, and I think if from what I'm seeing and from what I've heard in the past, whether it's went back and forth, I think Dame would love to repair and have some level of like calm with that relationship.
For sure.
To a point where it's like, you know what, I just want you to show that you actually still give a fuck about me in some type of way. Because everything through business and everything through the press just seems like you just eliminated.
That's not what he says publicly, though.
I'm just telling you from what.
Got you.
From what I think he would love nothing more for them to get to a peaceful place, not just in the public side, but just business-wise.
Yeah, they love each other.
Yeah.
And here's the other piece.
Well,
Dame probably feels like he's owed that. I mean, from every interview he's ever said, he feels like he was mistreated in a business deal. And so I think if somebody drops $3 or $4 million, if Hov drops $3 or $4 million, I think he feels like that's a horrible thing to think, though. That you're owed that? No, owed in the sense that he was mistreated financially.
Feelings ain't facts.
I'm not. Again, I don't have no opinion on that. But if you feel, it's just like if right now he owes you $1,700 for that light bill. Mm-hmm. So there's a way that if he gave you $1,700 or something, you could justify it and say, well, nigga, he owed it to me anyway. He never paid me for the light bill.
Yeah, but what money does Jay owe Dame? Like, as far as like I owe you money because
I'm not saying in legal terms. I'm saying in terms of Dame has repeatedly talked about sort of there was ethical violations between men and how street niggas move, how Harlem niggas move, et cetera, in terms of the business deals, in terms of how the label was split up, in terms of just now saying behind the scenes when it was auctioned off, when he felt like, again, they put their thumb on a scale to make it harder for him to sell it. They devalued it. These are things that he has said he feels mistreated. So I could see him accepting the money and not feeling any kind of way about it, because it's like, if I wouldn't be in this position to need it if y'all hadn't done these things. Again, that's just a position somebody could have.
Allegedly.
And I can
I'm just saying from his perspective. I don't think it's right. I don't have an opinion on it.
Jay could also think and speak to moments of him doing interviews and speaking on his character and bringing up certain things that could have made the public look at Jay in a different way, to say that was a way of devaluing him as. So I mean, I don't, at this point, the old word is just, I think, just a bad word to use in this situation. I think both of them did what they needed to do together to get to where they need to get. Jay just so happened to be able to take it to the next level of where he was going. And
just so happened is sure. Yeah.
I mean, not just so happened, but I mean, he played the game the way the game was.
I was the talent.
Yeah.
I was the talent.
That's not always the case.
No, that's not it. That's not the only piece.
I didn't say it was. I said I'm the.
When people talk about hip-hop legends, the name Jay-Z is always near the top of the list. He's not just a rapper, he's a billionaire businessman, a mogul, and a cultural icon. But long before the fame, before the luxury lifestyle and the corporate empire, there was Roc-A-Fella Records. And Jay-Z didn't build it alone. Dame Dash was right there beside him, co-founding the label and helping to push Jay-Z into the spotlight. Now, years later, Dame Dash is reportedly going through serious financial issues. According to court documents and reports, he's facing debts, legal fees, and asset seizures. And in moments like this, fans and onlookers start to ask, doesn't Jay-Z owe Dame something? Not legally, but morally. There's no denying Dame Dash played a major role in Jay-Z's early career. He was the one knocking down doors, setting up deals, and pushing Jay to stay independent when the industry turned its back. Without Dame's boldness and business hustle, Jay-Z's rise might have taken a different path, or maybe not happened at all in the way it did. That history, that partnership, is something fans haven't forgotten. And that's where the debate comes in. Should Jay-Z, now worth over $2 billion, step in to help the man who helped him become who he is today? To some, the answer is simple, yes. It's about loyalty. It's about honoring the people who were with you before the fame, before the money, when success was just a dream. Helping Dame now wouldn't just be charity, it would be a recognition of everything Dame once did for Jay. But of course, not everyone agrees. The two men have had a rocky relationship for years. There's been tension, lawsuits, and very public falling outs. Jay-Z may feel that he doesn't owe Dame anything anymore, especially if that friendship and business bond was broken long ago. Some argue that just because someone helped you once doesn't mean you have to carry them forever, especially if the trust is gone. Still, the conversation remains. In hip-hop culture, loyalty is everything. So when someone like Dame Dash falls on hard times, people look to the ones who made it to see if they'll lend a hand, not just because they have to, but because maybe they should. So, does Jay-Z owe Dame Dash a helping hand? That depends on how you define loyalty, and whether you think success should come with a responsibility to lift up those who helped you get there.